All right, let's talk about a retirement strategy for a 59-year-old couple with $1.5 million saved for retirement. Now, they're not asking the question, can I retire? They're asking the question, what do we need to do in retirement to be more tax efficient? How can we let our retirement income elongate for our entire retirement life? And are there anything that we need to look for when it comes to Social Security, our investments, or just our retirement in general? That's what I want to get into today on the Your Financial EKG YouTube channel. I want to look at this couple. First of all, can we retire, and at what age can we retire? Okay, taxes. This is where they're really concerned. Now in Florida, we don't have a state tax. God bless Florida. And so we really only have to worry about the federal tax. That's really where they're concerned. So currently, in the year 2023, their projected federal rate is 11.7%. Now remember, John's salary is $190,000. We've got $40,000 in qualified contributions. That's what's going into the 401k. Got about $1,000 in 1099 interest, so our gross income is $150,000. Now here's the number I want you to focus on. This deduction right here, $27,700. That's a married filing jointly deduction. That is a very high standard deduction. If you take this back to when Obama was president, that standard deduction for married is half of that. And so that's really what I'm anticipating going forward is taxes are going to go up, maybe not as much as, Bernie Sanders wants, but I think they're going to lower deductions, which will increase revenue, and they won't have to raise the brackets as much. So that means our taxable income is $122,515. So we're in the 22% overall bracket, but our projected bracket's 11.7 after the standard deduction and after our qualified charitable contributions. So if we look at this tax analysis, again, we've got about 1.3 million in qualified, 25 in non-qualified, and 100,000 in 1099. So what we want to really try to do is how can we get more money out of this qualified into this right here? I'd like to get it over here into Roth. That's really where I want to get it, because what I want to do is let's look at this in like 2040. Okay, so the year 2040, he's not working anymore, right? So John's done working. Year 2040, and let's say that taxes go up by 50%, okay? So that means the 10% bracket goes to 15, the 12 goes to 18, the 22 goes to 33, the 24 goes to 36, and the 32 goes to 48, okay? So let's just assume taxes go up half. Now, he's basically in the same level of income that he was when he was working. So let's go to retirement, because this is the big question, can I retire? So if we just look at this bird's eye view up here, retirement funds analysis, basically at 93 and 88, they're out of money, okay? Which is, that's a pretty good scenario, 93 and 88. I feel pretty comfortable with that. I would like it to get to 100 for both of them, but right now, I feel pretty good about where they're at. Now, rate of return needed to avoid a shortfall is 6.25. Remember what we're running this at, like 5.7%, right? So all we got to do from an investment standpoint is get just a slight bit more of rate of return, and this is going to last forever, okay? So 5.7 to 6.25 is all we need rate of return wise. And remember, asset-wise, we've got $100,000 sitting here in the bank earning nothing. What if we take that $100,000 and put it into play and get some interest on it? Then we're actually pushing those years out even more, okay? So we know we need to work a little bit on the retirement income strategy, but let's focus on taxes, because taxes are where they're really concerned. So let's go back to scenarios. And the first scenario I want to look at from tax standpoint is the 7-year Roth conversion, okay? I just want to look at Roth. Remember, here's that repurposing bank money. We're going to talk about that. But let's just look at the Roth conversion for a second. All right, so here is the current scenario with the 7-year Roth conversions. Now remember, everything else is going to stay the same. John's going to retire in 2 years at 62. Now when we were putting this video together, he was 59. He had a birthday, so he's 60. So he's going to retire in 2 years at 62. He's currently making $190,000, so nothing's changing. His Social Security is 67 is where we're going to take it. Spousal benefit for his wife. And we're going to take the primary benefit for John. So let's look at the Roth conversions. That's the main thing. Because remember, if you remember his assets right now, he's got 93% of his assets are at risk, meaning they're in the market, and 91% of his assets are qualified. We're not going to be able to settle the entire tax issue unless John and Cindy want to take a huge tax hit up front, and they don't want to do that. So we really want to look at this and say, okay, John and Cindy, maybe we can't alleviate all your tax burden, but maybe we can do a bunch. All right, so let's look at this. So we have 2 more Roth conversion accounts we're going to add in there. So here's our cash flows. So we're doing a Roth conversion, meaning we're moving money from IRA to Roth IRA. Now with a Roth conversion, you have a 5-year rule. And the 5-year rule on Roth conversions says that you have to wait 5 years before you use that money for retirement income for each individual conversion. So if you do a Roth conversion in the year 2023, you got to wait to the year 2028 before you can use that for retirement income. 2024, 2029. It's not like a Roth contribution, it's a Roth conversion. There's a 5-year window on every conversion, no matter how old you are. 30 years old or 80 years old, you got a 5-year window. So we're going to do a 7-year Roth conversion. So from 2023 to 2029, we're going to do 7 years of a Roth conversion from IRA to Roth IRA. He's got to wait 5 years before he can touch this 2023 one. Another 5 years on 2024, another 5 years on 2025, and so on and so forth. So what we do when it comes to the Roth, or when it comes to the retirement income, is we adjust the withdrawal order. So we want to take our Roth conversion accounts for retirement income and make them the backbone of his retirement income, meaning this is going to be the last thing we touch. The first thing is going to be the 401k, then the brokerage account, and then the Roth conversion accounts are going to come up here before the bank. We're going to adjust that later on down the line as we do reviews. But we want to make sure we do not touch those Roth IRAs within the 5 years, or we're going to pay a penalty on that money. So we've got to always be cognizant of that. So if you look, here we go. Here is 5 of the Roth conversions. Remember, we're doing 7, so he's going to do 2 while he's still working. This is 62. He's retired. We're going to do 5 more. Now, here's the thing. We're still running out of money at 90 and 85. It was, from the last scenario, 93 and 88. Okay, so we lost 3 years of retirement income by doing the conversions. Why is that? Because he had to pay taxes up front. We lost tax dollars, cash flow, money that was being invested up front for the Roth conversion. So when we look at this, this scenario is incomplete. Yes, we are helping John alleviate one of his concerns, which is taxes. But we're doing an injustice because he's actually losing 3 years of retirement income because of doing the conversions. So sometimes it's not as simple as reading a Forbes article that says, do all your conversions, because you got to put the numbers in. That's why you need a financial EKG. That's why you need to look at this and say, okay, how do I make this work? But what's in the best interest of me and my spouse and my partner and my kids and my family? If you want a financial EKG, all the information is in the description below. Would love to sit down and do this with you. So now we got to look at this and we say, okay, John, we're doing the conversions. If we look at, like, let's go to 80 years old, basically all he's got is Roth money now, or 1099 bank money. So at 80, you know, in year 2043, they got $930,000 in assets. They don't have any taxes, right? Because none of that money's taxable. There's probably a little 1099 interest that's taxable, but for the most part, there's no taxes there. They do have a house. It's worth $800,000. So at 80, they could do a reverse mortgage. They could sell the house and downsize. Now remember, they live in a very expensive part of Florida, so they could move to a lesser cost part of Florida. They could do a reverse mortgage. They could do something to make their income last. What I always try to do as a financial advisor is I don't want you to have to leave your primary residence. I don't want you to have to like move at 80, 85, 90 years old. I mean, if you want to do that, and I've got clients that do that, great, and that's a good plan. But I don't necessarily want to say, hey, at 85, you're gonna have to move. I don't know what your health's gonna be like. I don't know what the life, you know, what the world's gonna look like. So if we can get our spendable assets to last to 100, then we can look at our primary residence and say, well, this is gravy if I need it, okay? So let's go back. Remember, on the scenario side, we have 3 different scenarios. We have their current scenario, we have a 7-year Roth conversion scenario, and we have a 7-year Roth conversion scenario repurposing some bank money. So let's go to that one. This is the last scenario we're going to look at. So when you look at his assets, We've got 1.3 million in the 401k. We've got 25,000 in a brokerage account, okay? And now, remember he used to have $100,000 in the bank? Now we have 25,000. And we were putting $5,000 a month into the bank. But instead, we're going to put $75,000 into a brokerage account, a taxable brokerage account. We're going to buy diversified ETFs, okay? And we're going to put $5,000 a month into that. So for the next 2 years, we're going to put $60,000 into this account, okay? $5,000 a month for the next 2 years. So let's see what happens. We still have our cash flows. Here's our Roth conversions. We're still doing our Roth conversions, which is great. Still doing that. We go to retirement, and now we're back to where we started. We actually gained a year, 94 and 89. We were, at the current scenario, doing no Roth conversions. We were at 93 and 88. So now we've done the Roth conversions. We've repurposed some bank money. We've got a little bit more money working for us instead of sitting in the bank, and we've gained an extra year. I feel really good about this. Again, at 94, right? They still have a $922,000 house. If it's half of that, we got a $500,000 house. So we have enough money to last for the rest of our life. So this is why when you look at these scenarios, you can't just look at it and say, oh, I'm going to blanket this scenario. I'm just going to do a Roth. No. It's got to be personalized, because for John, his main concern was taxes, right? Alleviate the tax burden. We did that. Look at this. We go to 80, right? We actually have more money here at 80 than we did in the last scenario, but we've got $837,000 worth of Roth money. That's really good. We've alleviated a big tax burden because we have so much Roth money. But what we also had to do for John was we had to look at his other investments, his other retirement investments, and say, okay, John, maybe you need to invest some of this money out of the bank. Repurpose that. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, just some diversified index funds. We like Vanguard, just some diversified Vanguard index funds. Get you about 6% a year, and now we've got our income running out at 94 and 89. Now we still have our Social Securities, we still have our house, so we still have some options once we get there. So this is why you want a financial EKG. You don't want something that's just put in Excel and you hope it works. You want a detailed scenario that looks at taxes, that looks at our retirement income, and looks at everything that's going on in our retirement life to get us to retirement, through retirement, and protect our ability to stay in retirement. Thank you so much for watching today. God bless. Bye-bye.